In the bustling heart of New York City, where skyscrapers pierced the clouds like ambitious dreams, billionaire tech mogul Alexander Voss stepped into his penthouse, sued after a grueling day of board meetings and billion-dollar deals. The air was thick with the scent of polished marble and fresh lilies, but something felt off. As he loosened his tie, his eyes caught a glint from the maid's hand. A simple silver ring that froze him in his tracks. His face paled, memories flooding back like a tidal wave from a forgotten shore. That ring. It was the one he had given to a girl in an orphanage decades ago, whispering a promise. "I'll marry you someday." But how could it be here? On the finger of his unassuming maid. If you're hooked already, smash that like button and subscribe for more heart-wrenching stories that remind us love conquers all. Trust me. You won't want to miss the twists ahead. Alexander Voss wasn't always the king of Silicon Valley. Born into poverty in a small, forgotten town in rural Pennsylvania, he was orphaned at the tender age of 7, when a tragic car accident claimed his parents. The world turned cold overnight, and he found himself shuffled into St. Mary's Orphanage. A crumbling building where hope was as scarce as warm meals. The other kids were tough, hardened by loss, but there was one light in that darkness: Emily Harper. She was 8. With freckles like scattered stars and eyes that held the warmth of a summer sun. Emily had lost her family to illness, and in their shared grief, they became inseparable. They played in the overgrown yard, sharing secrets under the old oak tree, dreaming of a future beyond the orphanage walls. One rainy afternoon, as thunder rumbled like distant warnings, young Alex found a tarnished silver ring in the mud while digging for worms to sell to fishermen. It wasn't much. Just a cheap band from some forgotten soul. But to him, it was treasure. He polished it with his shirt until it gleamed, then slipped it onto Emily's finger during their secret wedding ceremony behind the shed. "When we're grown up and I'm rich," he promised, his voice trembling with the weight of a child's sincerity. "I'll come back for you. I'll marry you for real." Emily giggled, her cheeks flushing pink, and they sealed it with a pinky swear. But life, as it often does, had other plans. The orphanage was underfunded, and soon, social services separated them. Emily was adopted by a kind but modest family in Ohio, while Alex bounced from foster home to foster home, each one more unstable than the last. He faced bullying at school for his ragged clothes, hunger that gnawed at his insides, and nights where he cried himself to sleep, clutching the memory of that ring like a lifeline. But Emily's promise fueled him. He studied relentlessly, earning scholarships through sheer grit. By high school, he was tinkering with computers in the library, teaching himself code when others were out partying. For her, he'd whisper to himself, imagining the day he'd track her down and make good on his word. Years blurred into a whirlwind of ambition. Alex dropped out of college to start his first tech startup in a dingy garage, fueled by ramen noodles and unyielding determination. His app revolutionized social networking, connecting people in ways no one had imagined. Investors poured in, and by 25, he was a millionaire. By 30, a billionaire. Voss Enterprises dominated the market, with offices worldwide and a personal fortune that could buy islands. But success came at a cost. Relationships fizzled, friends turned into acquaintances. Alex buried himself in work, his heart armored against vulnerability. He dated supermodels and heiresses, but none stirred the innocent love he once knew. Deep down, he searched for Emily, hiring private investigators, scouring records. But leads dried up. She had vanished into the ordinary world, or so he thought. Fast forward to that fateful evening in the penthouse. The maid, a quiet woman in her late 30s named Emma Hart, was dusting the grand piano when Alex entered. She was unremarkable at first glance. Practical uniform, hair tied back, a soft smile that never reached her eyes. Hired through an agency 6 months ago, she kept to herself, efficient and invisible, just as he preferred his staff. But that ring, Alex's voice cracked as he approached her. "Where did you get that?" he demanded, pointing at her hand. Emma startled, dropping her cloth. It's just an old thing, sir. From my childhood." Her voice was familiar, a gentle lilt that tugged at buried memories. He insisted she stay, pouring them both coffee in the kitchen. A room he rarely entered. As they talked, pieces fell into place. Emma was Emily. After adoption, her new family changed her last name for a fresh start. Life hadn't been kind. Her adoptive parents passed away young, leaving her to fend for herself. She married briefly, a mistake born of loneliness, but it ended in divorce, childless and heartbroken. Struggling with bills, She took cleaning jobs, eventually landing in New York. The ring. She never took it off, a reminder of the boy who once made her feel seen. "I thought you'd forgotten," she whispered, tears welling. Alex shook his head, his empire suddenly feeling hollow. "I never stopped looking." But rekindling a childhood promise wasn't simple. Alex's world was a fortress of luxury and scrutiny. Paparazzi hounded him, and his board of directors whispered about his eccentric behavior. Emily, now Emma, felt out of place in his opulent life. "I'm just a maid," she protested when he confessed his enduring love. "You've built an empire, I clean toilets." Self-doubt plagued her, echoes of a life marked by loss and invisibility. Alex, too, grappled with his own demons. Years of isolation had made him guarded, vulnerability terrified him. What if she saw the broken orphan beneath the billionaire facade? Their first dates were awkward. Candlelit dinners where she fidgeted with silverware, and he stumbled over words. Challenges mounted like storm clouds. A jealous ex-girlfriend leaked rumors to the tabloids. Billionaire's Maid affair. Gold digger alert. Headlines screamed scandal, painting Emma as opportunistic. Alex's stock dipped. Investors panicked. At home, Emma's old insecurities resurfaced. She packed her bags one night, convinced she was dragging him down. "I can't be your charity case," she sobbed. But Alex chased her to the elevator, dropping to one knee. "Not with a diamond, but with the truth. This isn't charity. It's the promise I made. We've both been orphans in our own ways, lost, searching. Let's build a home together." Resolution came through small, heartfelt steps. Alex stepped back from the CEO role, delegating to focus on philanthropy, starting a foundation for orphans inspired by their past. Emma pursued her long, buried dream of teaching, enrolling in night classes with his support. They faced the media storm head-on, sharing their story in an exclusive interview that humanized Alex and celebrated Emma's resilience. Public opinion shifted, fans rallied, turning the scandal into a fairy tale. Slowly, trust rebuilt. They traveled to the old orphanage, now renovated with Alex's donation, and under that same oak tree, he proposed again. This time with a real ring, but keeping the silver one as a symbol. Their wedding was intimate, not flashy. A garden ceremony with orphanage kids as guests. Vows echoed their childhood promise. "In richness and in poverty, I'll always choose you." Life post-marriage wasn't perfect. Arguments arose over his workaholic tendencies, her fears of inadequacy. But they communicated, grew. Alex learned empathy beyond boardrooms. Emma discovered her worth beyond service. Together, they adopted 2 orphans, giving them the stability they once craved. As years passed, their story inspired millions. Alex's company thrived under balanced leadership, and Emma became an advocate for underprivileged women. They co-authored a book, Promises Kept, donating proceeds to child welfare. In quiet moments, they'd sit on their balcony, watching the city lights, grateful for the ring that bridged decades. And so, dear viewers, remember, true love isn't about wealth or status. It's about keeping promises, no matter how life twists. It's the courage to face our pasts and build futures together. If this tale touched your heart, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We've got more inspiring stories coming your way. What's your own promise story? Share in the comments below. But wait, let's dive deeper into their journey, because every great love story has layers upon layers of emotion, trials, and triumphs. Flashback to Alex's early days in the foster system. After leaving the orphanage, he landed with the Millers, a couple more interested in the government check than nurturing a child. Mr. Miller was a stern mechanic, barking orders, while Mrs. Miller drowned her sorrows in soap operas. Alex hid in his tiny room, coding on a borrowed library computer, escaping into algorithms where he controlled the outcomes. Nights were lonely. He'd stare at the ceiling, wondering if Emily was okay. Someday, he'd vow, clenching his fists. One foster home was particularly brutal. At 12, he was placed with the Hargroves, where the father was abusive, lashing out after drinking binges. Alex learned to dodge fists and hide bruises, but it hardened him. School became his sanctuary. A teacher, Mrs. Klein, noticed his talent and mentored him. "You're destined for greatness, Alex," she'd say, slipping him extra books. It was her encouragement that pushed him to apply for scholarships, landing him in a prestigious high school program for gifted kids. There, he met his first business partner, a nerdy kid named Jake, and together they built their first app, a simple game that went viral among students. Success snowballed. By 18, Alex was emancipated, living in a rundown apartment, coding day and night. His startup, ConnectHub, launched amid skepticism, but users flocked. The day it hit 1 million downloads, he celebrated alone with a cheap pizza, toasting to Emily's memory. Wealth accumulated, but so did emptiness. Parties in mansions felt shallow, dates with glamorous women ended in mutual disinterest. Investigators he hired found traces, an old address in Ohio, a marriage record. But Emily had moved, changed names after divorce. She's gone, one PA said. Alex drowned sorrow in work, acquiring companies, building an empire that masked his loneliness. Meanwhile, Emma's path was a quiet struggle. Adopted by the Harpers, a middle-class couple in Cleveland. She had stability at first. They encouraged her love for books, dreaming she'd become a teacher. But cancer claimed her adoptive mother at 16, and her father spiraled into depression, losing his job. Emma dropped out of community college to work, waitressing, cleaning offices, sending money home. At 22, she met Tom, a charming salesman who promised the world. They married impulsively, but his charm hid gambling debts. Arguments escalated, he left her with nothing but heartbreak and a stack of bills. Broken, Emma moved to New York, chasing opportunity. Cleaning jobs paid the rent, she blended into the background, her dreams deferred. The ring stayed on, a talisman against despair. He probably forgot. She'd think, but it reminded her of pure love. Friends urged her to date, but trust was shattered. Until that night in the penthouse. Their reunion sparked fireworks, and fires to extinguish. Alex's ex, Victoria, a socialite scorned, fueled the tabloid frenzy. She's after his money? Headlines blared. Emma's phone buzzed with hate messages, she considered fleeing. But Alex stood firm, hiring PR experts to counter the narrative. He took her to therapy sessions, where they unpacked traumas, his abandonment issues, her fear of unworthiness. We're in this together, he affirmed. A pivotal challenge came during a business crisis. Voss Enterprises faced a hostile takeover bid from a rival. Stress mounted. Alex snapped at Emma one night, accusing her of distracting him. Hurt, she retreated. But in the quiet, he realized his empire meant nothing without her. He delegated the fight to his team, prioritizing their relationship. They won the bid, but more importantly, won back trust through open talks. Resolution bloomed in everyday joys. Weekend getaways to quiet cabins, where they cooked simple meals and shared stories. Alex taught her coding basics, she taught him to garden. They volunteered at shelters, giving back. Adopting Lily and Max, siblings from a broken home, sealed their family. Challenges persisted. Parenting tested patience, media scrutiny lingered. But love anchored them. Their story's message, promises, like seeds, can grow through storms if nurtured. Wealth fades, but connection endures. In a world of fleeting fame, hold onto your heart's truths. Inspire others, keep your vows. Expanding further, let's explore the emotional depths of their characters. Alex, the billionaire, was a man of contrasts. Ruthless in negotiations, yet tender in private. His office was a glass fortress, but his heart yearned for authenticity. Emma, the maid, embodied resilience. Her hands, calloused from labor, held a gentle strength. Relatable. Absolutely. Who hasn't felt like an imposter in their own life, or clung to a childhood dream amid adult realities? Key challenges included societal judgment. Friends questioned Alex's choice. A maid, really? Family. Distant relatives surfacing for handouts. Doubted Emma's motives. They resolved by surrounding themselves with true allies, like Jake, now a VP, who championed their love. Another hurdle blending worlds. Emma's first gala was disastrous. Spilled champagne, awkward small talk. But Alex coached her, and she shone, her warmth winning over cynics. In turn, she grounded him, reminding him of humble roots. Pacing for a 20-minute video, the hook grabs in seconds, backstory builds tension 5 minutes, reunion ignites drama 5 minutes, challenges escalate 5 minutes, resolutions warm the heart 3 minutes, message inspires 2 minutes. Inspiring close, life's rings, symbols of commitment, remind us to honor promises to ourselves and others. Rise from ashes, love fiercely. Like, subscribe, share your story. Let's build a community of hope. To flesh out more, consider the Orphanage revisit. Driving up that dusty road, Alex's hands trembled on the wheel. The building, now vibrant with his funds, new playground, library, stirred ghosts. Emma squeezed his hand. Under the oak, kids played, they shared their tale, eyes wide. You can dream big, Alex told them. A boy asked, did you really keep the promise? Yes, Emma smiled, because love waits. Their philanthropy expanded, foundations for education, mental health, impacting thousands. Emma's teaching career flourished, she mentored at-risk youth. Alex mentored startups, emphasizing balance. Emotional peaks, Anniversaries with recreated. Weddings. Playful, tearful. Lau's a health scare for Alex, stress-induced. Emma's care nursed him, deepening bonds. Relatable characters. Alex's ambition mirrors driven professionals. Emma's struggles echo working-class heroes. Challenges, betrayal, doubt, universal. Resolutions, communication, growth. Inspiring. Word count approaching estimate. But the essence a tale of redemption, proving orphans can become kings and queens, together.